Why are they against the nuclear family? And they're openly against the nuclear family. I remember, like it was yesterday, Black Lives Matter had it on the issues page of their website about blowing up the nuclear family. Well, why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, look, even if you're some race hustling group like Black Lives Matter, what do you gain by blowing up the nuclear family? Help me understand it.
Well, Black Lives Matter, the leaders of Black Lives Matter have admitted that they are Marxists. They are trained Marxists, was the phrase that they use. The reality is that Marxists, or communists, or whatever you want to call them, see the nuclear family as patriarchal. And so they want a separation of the nuclear family. But in the end, the reason why they want it is because they want a marriage to the state. Everything is about the state. Everything is about distribution amongst everyone equally, or through, we should say via equity, right, to try to force some guarantee of outcomes, which is impossible. But everything is about the state. And once we start to see that everything is about the state, then everything else makes sense. It's about power, it's about control, and it's about the state having power and control, not the individual family, and not the rules of families to determine how their children are raised. It's about the state determining how they're raised. That's why you see what's going on within schools. That's why they're in administrations within schools. They are putting it in practice. This is critical race praxis that you're seeing.
You brought up the George Floyd stuff. One thing that struck me hard as I watched all that unfold, as we all looked in horror at our TV as American cities caught fire, was how popular it was. And I'm not just talking about some black person who thinks he got a bad shake. It was a bunch of suburban white boys driving into the cities to burn things down. I don't understand, why is there so much angst out there? Why did something like that get so popular? Was it just to be part of something, like an adventure or something? Was it like spring break for these people?
Well, George Floyd was an interesting situation, to say the least. So the first thing is, the reality is that Black Lives Matter, the movement and the protests, was a majority white movement. And what ends up happening is the media, they turn on their cameras at certain moments to show black people, to give the illusion that it's a black movement. And were there black people there? Sure. But Hidden Tribes did a very interesting study a few years ago to show that 3% of progressive activists are black. That's it. So the vast majority of progressives in this country, and including progressive activists, are not black. And so Black Lives Matter was a front for basically the white upper class within our society that believe in this, boutique religion called anti-racism. And they use every single opportunity to go out on the street and do everything in the name of black people, because they're our saviors of society. So that's much of why you saw so many, white kids out there, because it was a white movement. It just had black faces at the front of it under the guise of BLM.
Bunch of 16-year-old white kids driving their BMWs into the city to burn something down. I'll never forget it as long as I live. All right. How do people fight back against this? People don't like it. They look at all this horror out there, DEI, and they want it stopped. They don't want our nation to go this way. But people don't know what to do. Oftentimes they get scared to even bring it up because nobody wants to get screamed at by some tranny. What do?
Well, for one, they have to have some hope. I think I've been watching too many people feel hopeless, and that's part of the demoralization phase that we're seeing in our society. The more you're hopeless, the more they win. My second suggestion is, if you have children, you let them know exactly what is happening and what could happen within their schools, within their everyday walk of life. And you prepare them for the possibility of these particular things. So if they do go off to college, which I'm not completely anti-college, but if they do go off to college, you let them know what they're going to face. Don't let them be blind. That's how they get indoctrinated by these people, because their parents didn't warn them. And to be honest with you, a lot of parents didn't even know that this existed. They thought they were going to school to get enlightened. So I think more awareness, more education, and some form of optimism is what's really at heart here.
I like that. That makes me feel better. Adam, come back soon, brother. Appreciate you.
Anytime.